Have you ever walked through a bookstore and imagined seeing your name on the spine of a book on that bestseller shelf? Or maybe you've started writing but got stuck after the first few pages, wondering if you even have what it takes? Here's the thing. Best-selling books aren't written by accident. They're not just lucky flukes. They're built with strategy, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to write your first bestseller, even if you've never written anything longer than a school essay. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a complete roadmap from that first blank page to holding your published book in your hands. Before we dive into the how-to, let's destroy 3 massive myths that are probably holding you back right now. Myth number 1, you need to be a literary genius. Wrong. Suzanne Collins wasn't considered a literary genius when she wrote The Hunger Games. She was a TV writer who had an idea about a girl in a deadly competition. That simple idea became one of the biggest book franchises ever. Myth number 2, you need a big publisher. Nope. Hugh Howey self-published his sci-fi series Wool and sold over 500,000 copies before any traditional publisher even noticed him. Andy Weir wrote The Martian and posted it chapter by chapter online for free before it became a bestseller and a Matt Damon movie. Myth number 3, you need the perfect idea. Here's the truth bomb. There are no original ideas, only original executions. Vampires existed long before Twilight. Wizarding schools existed before Harry Potter. What matters is how you tell the story. The real truth? Many best-selling authors started exactly where you are right now, with doubts, no fancy credentials, and just a burning desire to tell a story. All right, let's get strategic. Bestsellers aren't accidents. They're engineered from the very beginning. This is where most beginners mess up. They just start writing without a plan. Don't be that person. Think of a best-selling idea like a recipe. You need 3 key ingredients: a high concept, an emotional core, and market fit. Let me break this down. The high concept means you can explain your book in one sentence that makes someone go, "Ooh, I have to read that." Listen to this. In a dystopian future, a teenage girl volunteers to take her sister's place in a televised fight to the death. That's the Hunger Games in one sentence. Boom. You immediately understand what it's about and why it's compelling. Test this. Try pitching your idea to your friends. Do their eyes light up? Do they ask questions? If they look confused or change the subject, you might need to rethink your concept. The emotional core is about universal feelings. What human emotion does your story tap into? Love, survival, justice, belonging, revenge. The Fault in Our Stars taps into love and loss. The Hunger Games hits survival and justice. Books that make people feel deeply are books they recommend to everyone. And finally, market fit simply means, do books like yours already sell? This isn't about copying, it's about understanding what readers are hungry for. If nobody's buying zombie romance novels, maybe don't write one. But if the dystopian young adult genre is hot, then that's valuable information. Before you write a single word of your actual story, become a market detective. Spend a week stalking the Amazon Top 100, New York Times bestseller list, and the top charts in your chosen genre. What patterns do you see? What genres are dominating? What types of covers grab attention? Get specific about your genre. Don't just say fantasy. Say young adult urban fantasy with a slow burn romance subplot. Know the conventions, tropes, and reader expectations of that genre. You can innovate, but you must first know the rules. Here's a secret weapon. Read the 3-star reviews of popular books in your genre. Not the 5 stars that just say, amazing, and not the 1 stars that are just angry rants. The 3-star reviews are gold mines. They'll tell you exactly what readers wanted but didn't get. I love the magic system, but wish there was more romance. Great concept, but the pacing dragged in the middle. This is free market research. Now here's something that might sound counterintuitive. Don't write for everyone. Write for one person, your ideal reader. Who are they? What keeps them up at night? What are their dreams, fears, and secret desires? Write like you're speaking directly to them, like your best friends sharing secrets. Bestsellers connect because they feel personal. Just think of Beatrix Potter, who wrote her famous Peter Rabbit stories as letters to just one child, a sick little boy she wanted to cheer up. She wasn't trying to appeal to every child in the world, just one. And look how that turned out. Now that you have a solid, commercially viable idea, it's time to turn it into an actual book. This is where the magic happens, but also where a lot of beginners get overwhelmed. Don't worry, I've got you covered. Some writers like to pants their novels, meaning they make it up as they go along, writing by the seat of their pants. And hey, if that works for you, great, but as a beginner, structure is going to save your sanity. Think of structure like the skeleton of your story. Without it, everything just collapses into a pile of, well, let's just say it's not pretty. The simplest and most effective structure is the 3-act structure, which includes Act 1, the setup. Here you introduce your character, show us their normal world, then hit them with the inciting incident that changes everything. This is usually the first 25% of your book. Act 2, the confrontation. At this point, your character faces escalating obstacles and rising stakes. Around the middle, hit them with a major plot twist or setback. This is the longest section, about 50% of your book. And finally, Act 3, the resolution. This is the final confrontation, the climax, and the resolution. This is the last 25% of your book. Once you've outlined your story, it's time to get writing. In our short attention span world, you have about 5 pages to hook a reader. That's it. No pressure, right? Your opening needs to do 3 things. Number 1, establish a compelling character. Someone readers can root for or are intensely curious about. They don't have to be likable, but they have to be interesting. Number 2, ask a question. Start with something that makes readers think, what's going on here? Or what happens next? Don't start with your character waking up or looking in a mirror. Please, just don't. And number 3, set your tone and voice. Are you funny, dark, mysterious, romantic? Let us know immediately through your words. Now here's the important thing. Readers don't just buy plots, they fall in love with characters. They want to be friends with them, date them, or even be them, so give them flaws. Perfect characters are boring. Katniss Everdeen is brave, but also stubborn and sometimes cruel. Harry Potter is loyal, but also hot-headed and often makes terrible decisions. Flaws make characters human and relatable. Also, give them a goal. What does your protagonist want more than anything? To win the games? To defeat Voldemort? To get the girl? This drives your plot forward, and give them a deeper need. What do they truly need to learn or overcome to become whole? This is different from what they want. Maybe they want to win the competition, but they need to learn to trust others. The tension between what they want and what they need creates a powerful character arc. Now you need to write a vomit draft. Okay, gross name I know, but stick with me. Your first draft has exactly one job: to exist. That's it. Give yourself permission to write badly. I'm serious. Your first draft is supposed to be terrible. Even best-selling authors write terrible first drafts. The magic happens in the rewriting. Set a schedule and stick to it. Maybe it's 30 minutes every morning before school or work, or an hour every evening. Consistency beats intensity every time. Writing 200 words every day will get you a full novel in less than a year. And please, please, don't edit as you go. Turn off that inner critic that keeps saying, this is garbage, and just get the story down. You can't edit a blank page, but you can always fix a bad page. Congratulations, you've written a first draft. Do a happy dance, treat yourself to something nice, because most people who say they want to write a book never even get this far. But here's where the real work begins. A first draft is just the starting point. The bestseller magic happens in the revision process. First thing, put your manuscript in a drawer or a computer folder, and don't look at it for at least 2 to 4 weeks. I know, you want to dive right into editing, but trust me on this, you need to come back with fresh eyes. When you do come back, read through the entire thing, focusing only on big picture issues. Don't worry about typos or awkward sentences yet. Ask yourself, does the plot actually work? Are there gaping holes? Can you follow the character's motivation throughout the story? This is called a developmental edit. Only after you've fixed the big structural issues should you go sentence by sentence to tighten your prose and polish your voice. Check out my lessons on self-editing for more info. You can find the links in the video description below. Now, you alone can't edit your own story. You need fresh eyes. When you are way too close to something, You can't always see its problems. It's like trying to see your own face without a mirror. Impossible. So, try to find 3 to 5 beta readers who love to read in your genre. These aren't your mom or your best friend. They'll just tell you it's amazing. You want honest feedback from people who understand what makes a good story in your genre. Even better, if you can find critique partners who are other writers who will swap manuscripts with you. They can give you more technical, craft-focused feedback. And if you're serious about this, and I mean really serious about creating a bestseller, hire a professional editor. This is the clearest signal that you're a professional author, not just someone who wrote a book. Start with a developmental editor who can help with plot, pacing, and character arcs. Then move to a line editor for prose and flow. Finally, a proofreader for the final polish. Yes, it costs money, but think of it as an investment in your book's success, not an expense. Okay, so here's what they don't teach you in English class. Writing the book is only half the battle. Now you have to sell it. Don't worry, this isn't as scary as it sounds. First, choose your publishing path. You have 2 main options. Traditional publishing means finding a literary agent who then sells your book to a big publisher like Penguin Random House. The pros: prestige, a professional team handling everything, no upfront costs, and potential for wide distribution. The cons: it's incredibly slow, very hard to get an agent, you lose creative control, and royalty rates are low, usually 7 to 15%. Self-publishing means you are the publisher. You hire your own team or do the whole thing yourself and publish directly on platforms like Amazon. The pros: full creative control, much faster to market, and way higher royalty rates, up to 70%. The cons: you pay for everything up front and you need to think like an entrepreneur, not just an artist. Neither path is better or worse, they're just different. Choose based on your goals, timeline, and personality. Now, let's talk about the big 3 sales tools. These are 3 things that sell your book more than anything else. Do not skimp on these. First, your cover. People absolutely judge books by their covers. Your cover needs to look professional and clearly signal your genre. A romance needs to look different from a thriller. Hire a designer who specializes in your genre. Second, your title. It should be memorable, intriguing, and give hints about your story and genre. The Hunger Games immediately suggests competition and scarcity. The Fault in Our Stars hints at romance and tragedy. And finally, your book description. This is like a movie trailer in text form. Hook the reader, introduce the stakes, and end with a compelling question that makes them think, I have to know what happens. Now, it's time to build your community. Don't wait until your book is published to start finding readers. Start building your author platform today. You could try the following to build an early audience. Number 1, an email list. This is your most valuable asset. It's a direct line to readers that you own, unlike social media followers. Offer a free short story or character background as a reader magnet to get people to sign up. Number 2, social media. Pick 1 or 2 platforms where your target readers hang out. If you're writing young adult fiction, TikTok's Book Talk community is huge. For romance, try Instagram's Bookstagram. Don't try to be everywhere. Be consistent where you are. Number 3, create a professional author website. Think of this as your digital home base. While social media platforms are like rented spaces, your website is property you own and control completely. It's the central hub where readers, agents, and publishers can find everything they need to know about you and your work. Number 4, engage in reader communities, genuinely. Go beyond just posting on your own social media and actively participate where your readers already gather online. Try Goodreads, Reddit, and Facebook groups dedicated to your genre are excellent places. Don't just show up to promote your book. Become a valuable member of the community. Discuss other authors' books, answer questions, and share your passion for the genre. And finally, number 5, network with other writers. The writing world can feel isolating, but it's actually a deeply collaborative community. Connecting with other authors, especially those at a similar stage in their careers, is invaluable. Follow and interact with them on social media. Join writing organizations, offline networking events, or online forums. Now it's the book launch. The first few weeks of your book's life are critical for hitting bestseller lists. Amazon's algorithm pays attention to early sales and reviews. To make the most of this window, build a launch team, a small group of dedicated readers, fans, or fellow writers who agree to read an advance copy and leave an honest review during launch week. These early reviews are gold. They not only boost your credibility, but also tell the algorithm that people are engaging with your book. At the same time, create buzz across your platforms. Share behind-the-scenes glimpses of your writing process, host a cover reveal event, post short character interviews or teaser quotes, and use countdowns to build anticipation. Every bit of engagement helps drive traffic, grow excitement, and signal to potential readers and the algorithm that this book is something special. Okay, so let's do a quick reality check. Every single best-selling author started exactly where you are right now. J.K. Rowling was a single mom writing in cafes. Stephen King was a high school janitor writing on an old typewriter. Suzanne Collins was writing TV shows, not novels. They all had one thing in common. They started. They took that first step, then the next one, then the next one. Here's your assignment. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect idea, or the perfect writing conditions. Start today. Start small. Keep going. You don't need anyone's permission to write a bestseller. You just need persistence, strategy, and the willingness to learn and improve. And remember, not every great book becomes a bestseller. Luck and timing do play a role, but by following the steps we've covered today, you're not leaving it to chance. You're moving from being a hopeful beginner to a strategic author with a real plan. Your best-selling book is out there waiting to be written. The only question is, are you ready to write it? Drop a comment below and tell me what genre or story idea you're planning to conquer. Until next time, keep writing, keep dreaming, and remember, your story matters.